The night was colder than Emma expected. She stood outside the cafe, her jacket pulled tightly around her shoulders. The evening rush had ended and the streets were quiet. She glanced at her phone. No ride was available, and the buses had stopped running earlier than usual. That's when she saw Noah. He had been inside the cafe too, working on his laptop at the corner table. Emma had noticed him a few times before. Tall, calm, with a quiet presence that seemed to draw people without him even trying. They weren't friends, just familiar strangers who crossed paths now and then. Are you waiting for someone? Noah asked gently, walking up to her. His voice carried warmth, even in the crisp air. Emma gave a small, embarrassed laugh. Waiting for a ride that probably isn't coming. He tilted his head, considering her. I can give you one. If you don't mind. I live near Willow Creek. What about you? Her heart skipped at the coincidence. I'm in that area too, she said. Noah smiled, unlocking his car. Perfect, hop in. It's too cold to stand out here. Emma hesitated for a moment. 100 thoughts ran through her mind. Should she trust him? Should she decline politely? Should she wait longer? But something about Noah's steady eyes told her she'd be safe. She nodded. Inside the car, the air was warmer. The faint hum of the heater filled the silence. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Emma stared out the window, watching the city lights fade as they moved toward the quieter part of town. Finally, Noah broke the silence. You come to that cafe a lot, don't you? Emma turned, surprised he noticed. I do. It's my thinking place. I go there after work to clear my head. He gave a soft chuckle. Same here. I guess we've been in the same room more often than we realized. That thought lingered between them. Emma felt her chest tighten, not with discomfort, but with a strange awareness. It was as if she had been standing near someone important all this time without knowing it. The car rolled on, street lamps casting quick shadows across Noah's face. Emma found herself studying the way his hands gripped the steering wheel, steady and careful. So, what do you usually think about? He asked suddenly. She hesitated, then smiled faintly. Life. Choices. Things I should have done differently. Noah nodded slowly, his expression thoughtful. I think about that too. Funny how strangers can carry the same weight. Emma's heart stirred. His words felt too close to her own secrets. She wanted to ask him more, but before she could, Noah turned down a quiet road lined with trees. The silence grew heavier now. Emma felt a pulse of nervous energy. She didn't know why, but the air inside the car seemed charged, as if unspoken words floated between them. Then Noah slowed the car near a red light. He looked at her, not a quick glance, but a steady look that made her breath catch. Emma, he said softly, as if he had been waiting to say her name all night. Do you ever feel like some moments aren't accidents? Like they're meant to happen? Her heart pounded. She didn't know what to answer. The light turned green, but Noah didn't move the car right away. He kept his eyes on her, waiting. And in that suspended moment, Emma felt the night shift into something unforgettable. The car finally rolled forward after Noah pressed lightly on the gas. Yet Emma couldn't shake the weight of his question. Meant to happen. The words repeated in her mind like a secret she wasn't ready to admit out loud. For a few blocks, neither of them spoke. The quiet wasn't awkward. It was heavy, like both were carrying something they didn't know how to share. Emma finally broke it. I think sometimes life surprises us. Maybe not everything is planned, but maybe certain moments show up to wake us up. Noah glanced at her, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Exactly. The conversation settled back into silence, but Emma's heart was racing. She tried to steady her breath, but the way he looked at her at that red light lingered too strongly. Outside, rain began to sprinkle against the windshield, soft and steady. Noah flicked on the wipers. Looks like the weather's not on your side tonight either, he said lightly. Emma gave a soft laugh. Apparently, the universe wants me to spend more time in this car. The moment the words slipped out, she regretted them. They sounded too revealing, too vulnerable. But Noah didn't tease her. Instead, his expression softened and his hand gripped the steering wheel a little tighter. You don't sound upset about that, he murmured. Emma's pulse jumped. She turned her eyes back to the rain outside, afraid her face would give too much away. I guess I'm not. The road curved, leading them into a quieter neighborhood. The houses here were dark, most families already asleep. The only sounds were the rain and the low hum of the car. Emma, Noah said suddenly, his voice lower now. Can I ask you something personal? Her stomach fluttered. Sure, are you happy? With where you are in life right now? The question hit her harder than she expected. She opened her mouth, closed it again, then sighed. Some days I think I am. Other days, I feel like I'm just pretending. Noah nodded slowly, his jaw tightening as if her words touched something inside him. I know that feeling well. Their eyes met again. Longer this time. Emma felt a pull, like the world outside the car didn't exist anymore. Finally, the car slowed as they reached her street. Her house was just ahead, lights dim except for the porch. Emma's heart sank unexpectedly. She didn't want the ride to end. This is me, she said softly, pointing to her driveway. Noah pulled over but didn't turn off the engine. For a moment, neither moved. The rain tapped against the roof like a restless heartbeat. Emma's hand hovered near the door handle, but she couldn't bring herself to open it. She felt suspended between leaving and staying, between safety and something deeper she didn't fully understand yet. Noah cleared his throat. I'm glad I ran into you tonight. Her lips curved into a small smile, though her chest ached. Me too. And then came the silence again. The kind that dared her to break it. The kind that begged for a choice. Emma slowly opened the door, letting the cold night air rush in. She stepped out but didn't shut it right away. She leaned back down, meeting Noah's eyes once more. Good night, Noah, she whispered. Good night, Emma. She closed the door gently and hurried up the driveway. But when she reached her porch, she turned. Noah was still there, headlights casting soft light across the wet street. He didn't drive away. He just sat there watching her as though leaving too quickly would ruin the fragile thread between them. Emma froze, her hand on the doorknob, her heart pounding. She knew this moment wasn't finished. Not yet. Emma didn't sleep much that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the headlights lingering outside her home, saw Noah sitting there as if unwilling to let the night end. By morning, she was restless. The rain had cleared, leaving the streets washed clean, but her thoughts were tangled. She made coffee, sat by the window, and kept replaying the conversation in her mind. Are you happy? His question echoed, heavy and real. No one had asked her that in years, not even the people closest to her. She tried to distract herself with work, answering emails, making calls, but Noah kept slipping into her thoughts. His steady gaze, his quiet words, the way he stayed after she'd gone inside. By noon, she gave up pretending. She found herself walking back to the cafe where it had all begun, and there he was. Noah sat at his usual corner table, laptop open, coffee beside him. He looked focused, but when his eyes lifted and met hers, everything shifted. His lips curved into a slow, surprised smile. Emma, he said, standing a little too quickly, almost knocking over his chair. She laughed softly, trying to calm the rush inside her. You're always here. And you came back, he replied, his voice carrying something deeper than simple surprise. Emma slid into the seat across from him. For a moment, they just looked at each other, the silence between them thicker than yesterday. I didn't sleep much, Emma admitted finally. Noah leaned back, watching her carefully. Me neither, her chest tightened. She tried to laugh it off. I kept thinking about the rain. The rain? He asked, amused. Yes, she said, then lowered her voice. And the way you didn't drive off right away? The air between them stilled. Noah's expression softened, as though her words touched something he wasn't ready to say out loud. I didn't want to, he confessed. I didn't want the night to end. Emma's heart skipped. She stared down at her coffee, gripping the mug to steady her trembling hands. I felt that too. Noah reached across the table, not touching her, just letting his hand rest near hers. I don't want to make this complicated, Emma, but there's something about you I can't ignore. Her breath caught. We hardly know each other. Sometimes, he said gently, you know enough. Emma's throat tightened. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to step into whatever this was without hesitation. But fear tugged at her. What if she was reading too much into it? What if this moment wasn't meant to last? She stood suddenly, the chair scraping softly against the floor. I should go. Noah rose with her, concern flickering across his face. Did I say something wrong? She shook her head quickly. No, you just caught me off guard. He nodded slowly, not pressing further. Can I at least walk you out? Emma hesitated, then nodded. They left together, stepping into the bright afternoon. Outside the cafe, the air smelled of rain-soaked pavement and fresh beginnings. They stood at the curb, neither making the first move to leave. Emma finally whispered, "Thank you for last night." Noah gave her that same steady look that had unsettled her heart. "Don't thank me. Just, let's not pretend this didn't happen." Her breath trembled. She wanted to answer, but words failed. Instead, she turned and walked away quickly, afraid that if she stayed 1 second longer, she'd give in to something she wasn't ready for. Behind her, Noah called softly, "Emma?" She paused, halfway down the street, her back still to him. "I'll wait," he said simply. Those words chased her all the way home, making her wonder, how long would he wait, and could she let herself believe in him? Emma couldn't shake Noah's words. "I'll wait." All through the next day, they echoed in her mind. She tried to go about her routine, making dinner, tidying the house, catching up on a book she'd left unfinished. But everything felt heavy, incomplete. Everywhere she turned, she felt his presence, as if his promise had woven itself into her world. By evening, she gave up resisting and found herself walking the familiar path to the cafe again. Her heart pounded with each step, half hoping he wouldn't be there, half terrified he would. And then she saw him. Noah was outside this time, leaning against the railing with his coffee in hand. As if he had been waiting, not just for anyone, but for her. When his eyes caught hers, he straightened immediately, a smile breaking across his face, small but undeniable. "You came back," he said softly. Emma swallowed the lump in her throat. "You said you'd wait." His smile deepened, but his eyes stayed serious. "And I meant it." They didn't go inside. Instead, they began walking down the street together, their steps falling in rhythm. The sun was low, painting the sky with orange and gold. For a while, neither spoke. The silence wasn't as heavy this time. It was almost comforting. Emma felt the air around them soften, like the world had slowed just enough for them to notice each other clearly. Finally, Noah broke the quiet. "You seem scared." Emma froze. "Scared?" He nodded. "Not of me, but of letting something happen." Her lips parted, but no words came. He had read her too well. "I don't want to push you," Noah continued gently. "But I also don't want to pretend I don't feel what I feel when I'm with you." Emma's chest tightened. "And what is it you feel?" Noah stopped walking. She turned to face him, and in the fading light his expression was raw, unguarded. "Like I've been waiting for you for a long time without even knowing it," he said. The words sank deep into her, breaking something open inside her chest. She wanted to answer, but her fears rose quickly. What if this was only a fleeting moment? What if it ended as suddenly as it began? Her voice trembled. "I don't know if I can give you what you're looking for." Noah stepped closer, not too close, but enough that she felt the warmth of his presence. "I'm not asking for promises, Emma. Just honesty. Just a chance." Her heart raced. She wanted to say yes. She wanted to fall into the possibility of it, but she held herself back. "I need time," she whispered. Noah nodded, his eyes steady. "Then I'll give you time. But please don't shut me out completely." Emma felt her throat tighten. She had been waiting years for someone to see her so clearly, and now that it had happened, she didn't know how to handle it. They started walking again, slower this time. When they reached her street, Noah paused before the corner. "This is where I'll stop," he said softly. Emma looked at him, surprised. "You're not walking me all the way?" He shook his head. "If I do, I won't want to leave." Her breath caught, her body trembling at the quiet confession. She wanted to ask him to keep going, to ignore his own restraint, but she couldn't bring herself to say it. Instead, she gave him a soft smile. "Good night, Noah." "Good night, Emma." She turned, walking toward her house, but halfway down the path, she stopped. Her heart beat wildly against her ribs as if urging her to turn back. She almost did. Almost. But when she glanced over her shoulder, Noah was still there at the corner, watching her under the fading light, waiting, holding back with quiet strength. And in that moment, Emma knew something inside her was already his. That night, Emma stood by her bedroom window, staring out at the quiet street. She imagined Noah still standing at the corner, patient, steady, the way he had been when she walked away. Her heart ached with a mixture of longing and fear. She had spent years building walls around herself, protecting her heart, convincing herself that solitude was safer than disappointment. But now, those walls felt fragile, crumbling under the weight of a single man's quiet persistence. Like I've been waiting for you for a long time. His words wouldn't leave her. By morning, Emma knew she couldn't keep pretending. She didn't want to spend another day trapped between hesitation and desire. She needed to know what this connection truly meant. So she went back. The cafe doors chimed softly as she stepped inside, her heart pounding in her chest. And there he was again. Noah, at the same corner table as if he had never left. His eyes lifted, and the moment he saw her, his whole face lit up. "Emma," he said, rising to his feet. She froze, breathless, then whispered, "You're always here." He smiled. "Maybe I was waiting." Emma swallowed hard, her throat tight. She walked closer, her hands trembling, but her voice steadier now. "Noah, I've been afraid. Afraid of getting hurt. Afraid of believing in something that might disappear." He listened intently, his gaze unwavering. "But last night," she continued, her voice breaking slightly, "when you stopped at the corner instead of walking me all the way, that's when I knew. You weren't just trying to take something from me, you were holding back, respecting me, and I realized that's exactly the kind of man I've been waiting for." Noah's eyes softened, and for a moment, neither moved. Then carefully, he reached across the table, his hand brushing against hers. "Emma," he said quietly, "I don't want to rush you. I just want to be here, with you, for however long you'll let me." Her heart swelled, breaking through the fear at last. She turned her hand, letting her fingers slip into his. The simple contact sent warmth rushing through her body. "You don't have to wait anymore," she whispered. The silence that followed wasn't heavy or uncertain this time. It was full, alive, humming with a promise that words couldn't capture. They sat together for hours, not needing to fill every moment with conversation. Sometimes they talked about little things, books they liked, places they dreamed of visiting. Other times they just sat quietly, hands intertwined, letting the presence of each other say what words couldn't. When the afternoon sun began to fade, Noah walked her home. This time, he didn't stop at the corner. He walked beside her all the way to her porch, his hand brushing hers as if asking permission to stay close. At the steps, they paused. Emma turned to face him, her breath trembling. "This all started with one ride home," she said softly, "but it feels like more than that now." Noah's eyes held hers, steady and full of unspoken emotion. "It does," he agreed. For a long moment, they simply stood there, the world around them quiet. Then, slowly, Noah leaned in. Not rushing, not demanding, but offering. Emma closed her eyes and let herself meet him halfway. The kiss was soft, gentle, and brief. Yet it carried everything. The patience, the longing, the courage it took to reach this moment. When they pulled back, Emma smiled, tears shining in her eyes. "I'll never forget this." Noah brushed a strand of hair from her face, his own voice unsteady. "Neither will I." And under the fading light of evening, Emma knew she had stepped into something real, something worth every risk. One ride home had changed everything.